talking a lot for the past couple of weeks. As I think today should be the fourth week. We've been having a series of conversation regarding mental health and disability issues. Today we're going to continue, and today we're going to focus on mental health and look at the new mental health policy. Other areas will be moved in within this particular policy. So that's going to be our major discussion this morning. I always say and I'll maintain that mental health is very, very critical, and it's a thing that we need to give much attention to. So I guess to join us for that main discussion, we have a couple of interviews also coming your way. Then we have features and documentaries also as part of this wonderful program that we have for you. Between 8 and 9, will be time for the newspaper review segment. I guess to join us for us to run with the day's top news. So that's the package we have for you this Thursday morning. And glad that you've joined us. Good to know that you're part of us this morning. Stay with us. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, we'll move with our first discussion regarding mental health. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and we're going to move straight into our main discussion. Check with the time, 16 minutes past 6 is the time, and this show is proudly supported by Awake Purified Water. Awake Purified Water is Ghana's first charity-driven water. When you buy Awake Purified Water, you contribute to the National Cardiothoracic Center to pay for heart surgery and transplant for the needy. Awake Water, one for life. Also support coming from Adonko Next Level. Adonko Next Level is a premium energy drink which is filled with vitamin B6, B12, and other important nutrients to boost the immune system, fight fatigue, and revitalize the human body. Adonko Next Level is available in all shops nationwide. Also see for support coming from Betsboro and Shield Acrylic Paint. We'll move straight into our main discussion talking about the new mental health policy, issues regarding mental health. As I mentioned earlier, for the past 2-3 weeks, we've been talking about mental health issues and disability issues. That's part of the Sumibi Jumadi, as we trying to let you understand some of the things and the issues regarding mental health and disability and how best we need to pay attention to it. Today, our focus is going to be on the new mental health policy. So I have next to me Anabasandi Atwa, and he is the project officer, Basic Needs Ghana. Then we have Victor Skweku Besese. He is the Director of Administration, Mental Health Authority. And after Victor, we have Franklin Edu Tutu Safo. Franklin is the Director, Policy, Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation, Mental Health Authority. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
I hope you're all good.
We are good.
All right, and thank you very much for joining us. Let me start off with you, Franklin. On a broader front, how would you describe the whole idea of mental health in Ghana? How are we doing in handling issues regarding mental health in Ghana?
Yes, thank you very much, George. The first policy came up in 1994, and it was actually reviewed in 1996. The current policy,
speak up a bit fast.
Yes, the current policy that we have is from 2019 to 2030.
2030.
30,
Okay.
yes. In this current policy, we have 5 chapters. Yes, there's a background and then the rationale. In the chapter 2, we have a context from international, national health sector, and legal perspective. That's the chapter 2. Chapter 3, it looks at the thrust of the policy. And then number 4, we look at the implementation framework of the policy. And the 5 is the monitoring and evaluation. Yes.
Okay.
So these are the 5 chapters of the policy that we have. The background, actually, and the rationale, we look at what actually brought about the policy to the extent that it's estimated that 3% of people globally actually have a problem with the mental health. In 2005, there's a study which also estimated that 2.1 million Ghanaians actually also suffers from mental health. Yes, and then there was another study in 2009 which also says that 41% of Ghanaians has a psychological distress.
41%?
Absolutely. So it actually contributes to the 7% loss of our GDP. So what brought about this issue? The issue has to do with the mental health service delivery is skewed towards the southern sector. But with the initiative of the current government, we are yet to acquire a land which is going to serve the central part and the northern part of the country.
Right, but before we move further, I mean, with the figures you've given, about 41% of Ghanaians having some bit of mental health issues, as a country itself, are we taking mental health issues seriously?
I think it has never been serious because there's a quite number of challenges that the Mental Health Authority is going through, especially in terms of finances. And also, there is an issue that has to do with HR capacity. Because when you look at the specialist areas, you can realize that we don't have much specialists that goes into the mental health. And then there's also a problem of financial issues, with the exception of the DFID, which has indeed come to our aid in terms of supporting most of the activities that we've been carrying out. The current government indeed has also been doing very well with receiving our GOGs in time. For instance, last year, were the agencies that were given about 5 million budget allocation towards the mental health. So you could realize that these days you don't hear much of us making a lot of noise when it comes to mental health.
Let me pick same thoughts from Victor's. Whether as a country we've given enough attention to mental health issues.
Thank you. I think as my colleague just mentioned, it was not really the best. We think that there's more room for improvement. As he rightly said, over the years, it has been skewed largely towards the south by way of our institutions. We have the first one in Accra, Psychiatry Hospital, which was established in the 1800s. And it's still there as it is. You all know about the issue. Followed by Pantine here in Accra and Cape Coast. So you could say that largely those in the middle and the northern part of Ghana have been denied the right to mental health services as even enshrined in our constitution of Ghana. So it has not been the best. And of course that informed the need to focus more on it by taking it out from the general practice under the Ghana Health Service to see how they can forge ahead.
Now, the same question to Annabelle.
Yes, coming from the NGO, point of view, you know, our role is to complement government efforts, and where they fall short, we try to fill in. And of course, over the years, there have been challenges in the mental health sector. For instance, issue of awareness in the communities, with them even knowing that mental health is a challenge was a problem, and it's still a bit of a problem. Issues of services. It is not only that services are available in Accra or in Central Region. There are only psychiatric hospitals, that specialized hospitals which were there. 3, one in Pantine, one in Ankafol, and one in Accra. Which didn't mean that people were able to access these services. They were there, but the accessibility as to whether people who do not have the resources to access these services, they were accessing it, it's a problem. And so there was a need for community level service delivery, and that the coming into the into being of the Mental Health Act led to the formation of community level service delivery, where we have community psychiatry units scattered across all the districts. So every district facility is supposed to have a community psychiatry unit who will see to people with mental illness living within the communities. And so because of this, we have had a lot of people, even from the north, in the districts also accessing services with the coming into being of the Mental Health Act. However, like they are saying, there's a need for that kind of specialized hospitals also in the north and then in the central part of Ghana, the mid part of Ghana, where if the people still need, if they go for the community services and they still need some form of specialized services, they can still access that. And that is where we are today. If the act is there, it says that you have to have this. Yes, they have them, but are they medications at the community level? No, they have it, but are the human resources enough? No, they have it. What is the complement of the services at the community level? Which means that there's a lot we still have to do, and this still boils down to funding for mental health by government.
All right. So let's move into the policy. First of all, let's start from what was wrong with the old one.
Yes, thank you very much, George. The old policy actually wasn't implemented.
Okay.
The issue is that there was a problem with finances, but this policy that we are going to launch this morning is because we've had finance from DFID.
Okay.
They are supporting it. But the previous one was actually not implementable.
Because there was no finance?
Yes, there was really no finance.
That's the only problem with it?
Yeah, that was the major problem.
No, but were there other challenges in terms of the content itself?
Yes, I think it wasn't also broad enough. It was more specific. It wasn't specific. It wasn't geared towards the community. You know, the communities were not having access to it. But the major issue has to do with finances.
With financing.
Yes.
All right. Betis, you had anything to add to it?
Yeah, apart from what he's saying, you realize that I'm trying to juxtapose the previous policy or policies as against the current one that we have. The previous policy and the practice of mental health in Ghana was basically psychiatry, at responding to the presence of a medical condition.
Okay.
The promotion aspect was not really touched on in the previous policies.
Like the awareness and all those.
Yes.
Okay.
The stakeholders too was virtually government psychiatric hospitals, unlike the current one where we are talking about numerous stakeholders playing the role of delivery of mental health services. Of course, the presence of basic needs and other NGOs in Ghana speaks to the issue. Again, it was focused more on over-medicalization. Almost every condition giving medicines. I'm not saying the professional were not doing, but over, using the word over. Currently, we can talk about a key professional group like clinical psychologists, which are not even on the payroll of government.
Oh, really?
Yes. Clinical psychology basically talk to you, psych you, and they solve problems without using medications. But currently, we are having them in their numbers. They are coming out. We even have a regulator for them called the Ghana Psychology Council, which is regulating their this. So all kind of stakeholders are coming on board. We are even recognizing those in the new policy, those who are, in quote, having private prayer camps and co, who hitherto used to chain people and co. Ghanaians believe in God so much. So if you want to seek mental health care in a prayer camp, and it is your right to do that, we have no problem. All we need to do is that whilst you are there, you should be allowed to access the orthodox mental health service. And we make sure that all kinds of abuse, including chaining and co, should not continue within Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I think the new policy, what makes it different is also in drafting the new policy, there was an extensive engagement of stakeholders. The kind of stakeholders who were engaged and at various levels led to a very comprehensive drafting of the mental health policy, the new one. And also taking into consideration international protocols, looking at the human rights aspect, where they brought it together, and looking at where each stakeholder will play a part in this policy implementation, also made it a policy that is actually accepted and used by everybody. And like he just said, it was more about medicalization, but now as NGOs, we are also advocating for community level reintegration, where we think that much of the services has to be at the community level, and this policy also looks at that as well. And so it's a policy that we think that when it is actually when the policy is passed, we will be able to also use it, because we're involved. Most of the NGOs working in mental health were actually involved in the drafting of this policy, and it is very usable by us.
All right. The policy also talked about minimum investment into mental health related issues. When we talk about minimum investment, what do we mean by that? And within this, we can also look at funding issues too.
Yeah, let me start then. Mr. Safo will continue from there. When we're talking about minimum investment, I think what we're referring to is that looking at the quantum of the problem we are having. If an estimate in 2005 said that about 41% of Ghanaians has some amount of psychological distress or mental distress, that is huge. So we are expecting that per our financial strength as a country, what we receive, I think less than 1% of total fund allocated to the Ministry of Health is spent on mental health. That is woefully inadequate. And we're talking about mental health not only in psychiatric hospitals. We're talking about issues in schools, issues in prayer camps, even at the workplace. So there's so much that has to be done. And we think that if you look at the financial strength of Ghana, you are supposed to be a middle income country. Yeah. And by that definition, whether recently challenged or not, we think that much is not being done to our facilities. You can have a drive through our facilities. Hospitals that were built in the year that I was born have never seen any innovation. The rules are nothing to write home about. So by virtue of the fact that you have some amount of distress and you are taken to the hospital, the mere sight of the infrastructure alone can be distress you further. So I will not be able to put direct quantity to it, but it should be what? In tandem with the economic strength, economic strength of this country.
All right. Yes. So.
Yeah, I just want to add up to what Victor said. Usually, when it's time for us to prepare our budget, we have something called reality budget.
Reality budget.
Reality budget.
Okay.
It stipulates our activities which would help us to function as an institution. And there's also a component of the ceiling from the government. We said, let's say we need 1 cedi. The government said, no, we can't give you the 1 cedi, we'll give you 50 pesos to do that. So the issue has to do with that. Mental health should be a priority of the government. We should be in the position for us to be incorporated into NHI's tariffs, which we believe that when that is done, we'll be able to generate some income, which indeed the stress on the government in regards to mental health will also be reduced. It hasn't been accepted. Yes, we are in the process of putting quite a lot of pressure and lobbying to ensure that we have adequate funding for mental health activities in the country. So currently, as we said, there's a low priority in terms of mental health service delivery.
Okay. Yes, Albert.
Yes, I also think what we should be looking at is we need to be looking at mental health, the economic aspect of it.
That economic aspect?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is where we will be able to look at prioritizing it and investing more into mental health. For instance, somebody who has mental illness, who might have been able to do something and contribute to the economic development of this country, will be shortchanged. You understand? For instance, we have worked in the communities, we have formed groups, we have supported them to do some livelihoods. But anytime there are no medication and these people relapse, they relapse and their activities, whatever they might be doing to contribute to taking care of their family or paying some form of taxes, it actually comes back to zero. And they are not able to contribute to the GDP of this country. And so if we look at it as a point that if we invest in supporting mental health in the country, people who have mental illness can be stable, work to support themselves and also pay taxes. We will begin to prioritize it, because the moment they are not doing well, and then, excuse me, you are not able to support in their medication, support mental health development in the country, what happens is that you end up seeing people not doing anything, or people roaming on the street where you are trying to look for a lot of money to clear them out of the streets. And that is something that government will be spending a lot. But if you are able to prioritize mental health and take care of it at the beginning, make sure there are medications, make sure the systems are put in place in mental health, and at the end of the day, these people are working well and contributing to their families and then paying taxes. It leads to GDP growth, which comes back to a benefit for us as a country. So that is where we need to look at it, the economic impact of mental health, and then we'll begin to see.
It's obvious that the funding is not adequate.
Yeah, at all.
Okay.
I think,
let me just add, like he was saying, 1.4% of the health budget is spent on mental health every year, and sometimes it's not even the whole of the 1.4. It's not good. Does not go to mental health.
Someone will also argue that, but I mean, the health sector itself has a lot of
challenges. That is.
And same other items also seeking for the same attention. So we can't actually give everything.
Yes, but like I'm saying, not all the 1.4 is usually spent.
Okay.
You understand? That is the challenge.
That's the challenge.
Even though we are pushing for it to be more, not even what is allocated gets to us.
Okay, that's fictitious.
But even that, if you have 100% of the allocation to mental health and to Ministry of Health, we have less than 25 agencies. We have about 20 to 25 agencies under the ministry.
23.
So even if you divide it, it should be able to at least go higher than that. And you know, mental health is something that if we invest in it, you see improvement in even the physical health of the people. If you are not on medications.
Solves a lot of problems.
Yes, you are not on medications. How do you adhere to advice by your general medical practitioner that come for treatment, don't do this, don't do. You're already out of the distance. And mental health, again, it's not only about, I think you say, our brothers and sisters, unfortunately, who may be nude on the streets or in extreme state of it. Right in our workplaces, right in our classrooms, the issues
in our homes.
The issues recently.
That's where unfortunately that's what we miss.
Sparser killings that are happening.
Yes.
Brought by stresses of coronavirus related economic issues. Suicide committed by no less a professional like police officers. You get to the point. And all kinds of things are happening in this country. If we invest in those issues, it will help. People not even being productive at the workplace. Somebody comes, has chronic headache. Somebody sleeps and he doesn't sleep. He's on bed but he's not sleeping. How can he come to work and be productive? So all these issues of at least putting in place something like a workplace related policy on mental health, just as we had it for HIV and co. When HIV came first, those who were tested positive were eventually seen as in quote case and stuff like that. You can still have somebody at the workplace who has a challenge with mental health. He can still be supported to access services and can still be productive, first to himself, to his family, and again, as Sandy said, and my brother also said, contribute to the development of this country economically.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to add up to what my brother said. We are not here to say that the government is not helping mental health.
We'll come to some things that the government has done so far, but just go on.
So the issue is that the government is actually doing what he can do to support mental health activities. But we are saying that is not enough. We are making quite a lot of advocacy towards that to ensure that the mental health is prioritized in the economic agenda, so that we can also make some revenue to that effect. The issue is that, as I said earlier on, the mental health should be incorporated to NHI tariff. We believe that we'll be able to generate a lot of money to cater for ourselves, as the other agencies of the ministries are doing, especially the teaching hospitals. So I think the government should try to support that agenda in that regard.
Right. I mean, one thing that Victor's talked about, that for our system here, when we talk about mental health, mainly it's got to do with psychiatric issues. And you just talked about that most of the time we think about just those who are out there on the street and all that, but there are various forms of mental health issues that we either do not know or we pretend not to know. In terms of creating the awareness, how do we focus, or have we focused on those other aspects, like those anger issues, killing, suicide, and all those things? Have we focused on creating the awareness that these things are also mental health issues that equally needs attention?
Yes. So you take it from this point that even as a Ghanaian society, if you go into the local languages, and that has been our working, so it's not easily challenging in the community when you try to create awareness. Then you want to translate mental health in the local language. mad. That is what is easily translatable in the local languages. And so when you go to the community, before you will be able to anger issues, depression, mild to severe, some kind of dementia, this, that, they are all different categories of mental illness. What we try to do is you need a bit of people with lived experiences who comes, and that is where we come in, because the specialists might not be able to do this. So we have a groups in the communities where people with mental illness come together, have their meetings, ranging from mild depression, severe depression, schizophrenia, bipolar. They are all there. They meet in the communities, they discuss their issues, they encourage one another, and then they serve as a point of contact for people who deliver services to them. And so when you are creating awareness, we make sure that these are the people who go to tell the community that, look, I have this kind of condition. It is also a mental illness, but I can live well within the community if you don't stigmatize against me. And that is what we have been able to use in the community to reach out to a lot of people in the community. But still, it is difficult because you need to engage the stakeholders within the community and let them understand what mental health is. Speaking with the elites, speaking with people who understand the issues is easier. Oh, this is it. But when you go to the community, you need to do extra. You need to engage the chiefs, the opinion leaders, the assemblymen, the market women, the queens, the mangages, all the people, including the youth leaders, to let them know that these are the issues. Currently, we are doing some activities in schools, trying to even catch them young and doing some studies, trying to get the students to form clubs. And through that, we are able to educate them and let they themselves, those who were assessed, they did some assessment, and some of the students were screened positive. And there are those who come and tell their colleagues that, look, I've been screened positive, I've gone through the treatment, and I'm doing well. And they are beginning to embrace mental health. But Ghana is big. It is not every part of the country we can cover. And that's why we need government to adopt some of these strategies. Because we need to get to a point where it is just part of the system, not an NGO doing all the work at this point. But the awareness we are still pushing. And we hope that with time, government will come in and then push it more.
Okay, Victor, that's how does the policy address some of these in terms of promotion and all that? I mean, the promotion of mental health issues.
Thank you very much. The policy actually addresses the issue of promotion of mental health. Currently, not just a statement of policy, we are making every effort to ensure that right from the beginning of birth, the child is taught basically what is mental health as part of our curriculum, beyond the psychiatry that you know. So when we all get to understand the issues from infancy, right from primary school, we are told what is health, what is mental health, what is social well-being. They will grow to be the champion. So that's number one aspect of it. Knowing what is it is number two. A lot of us don't even know that people with mental health conditions have rights. We are currently undertaking quality rights training, where as many professionals, family members, and even people living with mental health conditions themselves are supposed to know their rights. It's part of the promotion. Because if you don't know, you cannot demand what is rightful to you and co. Then as many other programs, as we are saying, your inability to do one or two activities in life, which may lead to you being denied the right to participate in your daily activities, is something that once you know, you'll be able to sort of demand for it. So there are so many things out there they are doing. And remember, apart from the psychiatric hospitals, one of the things we are doing is that we have something called community mental health services.
Yes.
Any service that is rendered outside the psychiatric hospitals, especially hospitals, we see to community mental health services. As we speak, all district hospitals, including mission hospitals under Christian Association of Ghana, at least have mental health unit that will provide some level of service to the people.
Okay.
And we're also working on discrimination and stigma against even those of us who work with mental authority.
Oh, I also go through stigma.
Yeah, people think our professionals who attend to people with mental health conditions may also have some amount of.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's what they think. So even attracting people to come to mental health professionals, professional training is a bit of a problem. But God being so good, not too long ago, we had less than 15 or so psychiatrists in Ghana. Currently, we have about 47 to 50 in Ghana. So at least it's working. And interestingly, more ladies are even interested than men. Yes.
Okay. But previously, we had more men, right?
Yes. Men dominated and co-dominated. Now more ladies are coming into it. And again, coronavirus, it has heightened the issue of mental health than ever. Our boss, Professor Akwesose, will tell you number of people who called in the night that, please, I'm contemplating suicide. Just because a family member has tested positive. You know how it came first, as if that was all about it.
We have calls like that?
Yes, we have a lifeline that people can call if they want, and they want assistance. And all these things, we have to pay for them, because the line will definitely be provided by a service provider, which must be paid for. If, let's say, the chief executive of a big company, Anglo Gold Ashanti or what have you, understand these issues from the beginning, why wouldn't he make some allocation of its resources to support such a issue? The last of it is that, look, Ghana's life expectancy now is about 60. We used to be around 40-something.
40-something.
Some of the mental health conditions are directly linked to aging population. Dementia is one of them. So if all of us to tell you don't know what is happening, and yet you want to live longer, the more you live, the more you have the chances of living with some of these conditions. And the better we invest into it now, the best for all of us at old age.
I so much agree with you.
So, Judge, I just want to add to what my brother just said, to tell you that the Mental Health Authority is making a conscious effort, which indeed we have recruited currently the head of promotions to the institute to help us make a lot of promotional issues in that regard. And then also, we are also trying to recruit district coordinators at the various districts, whereby the communities will also have an easier access to the coordinators to advocate. The coordinators will advocate most and promote most of the mental health issues to the community. You see, the issue has to do with, there's a need for us to make a conscious effort, diffuse the mentality of Ghanaians, when it comes to stigmatization.
See their test.
It's very important.
It's very, very, very important. Because at the end of the day,
the most annoying, I wouldn't say annoying, but the most disappointing aspect is that you find people who are supposed to know better.
Absolutely.
Including colleague health professionals.
Engage in things like this. I mean,
it's so serious, because they will say, oh, with you fear salam by Adriana Sabbath, we just think it's so sad. So there's a need for us to make a lot of promotions and advocacy in regards to the stigmatization process.
Let's briefly talk about some government interventions so far within this particular area. Then we can talk about the launch of the policy.
In terms of finances?
In terms of interventions within the mental health, what government has been able to do so far?
Yes, as I said earlier on in my earlier submission, I indicated that the government is actually doing a lot to support the mental health. We used to have difficulties in our releases. After we submitted the budget, it takes quite a number of time, a number of months for us to get our releases. But we realized that for the last 4 years, we have been having consistent releases quarterly in supporting the mental health agenda.
So you have money?
No, not that we have money. It's not enough. Because I made mention that we have a relative budget.
Yes.
We expected that the government would give us money to that quantum. But we don't get that quantum. We work within the ceilings. So most of our work plans, we find it very difficult to implement them. So we are trying to call on the government to increase our budget allocations to enable us carry most of the activities we intend to carry. So that's very important. The government is doing enough. Yes, we appreciate that, but there's a lot.
Yeah, so two other intervention, at least I can speak for the current government doing that. We used not to have good supply of psychotropic medicines. I mean, medicines that are meant for treatment of mental health conditions to our hospitals that much. But we can say it at least for the past 3 years, it has gradually been improving.
Yeah.
Okay. It has, in fact, is improving. And kudos to the current Minister for Health. He's done a lot and it's more responsive when it comes to that. Because without the drugs, how do you ask somebody to go to hospital without medication? You will definitely relapse and get back to the street and stuff like that. In addition to that, as he said earlier, for my brothers and sisters who live in the northern part of Ghana, we can assure you that we've almost concluded acquiring parcels of land on the Yendi Tamale Road, where a modern mental health hospital for specialized services will be constructed. In the Middle Belt too, in Ashanti region and around Kumasi, we are yet to conclude where it will be really be sited. Another mental health hospital for specialist services will also be constructed, so that this can supplement the work of district and regional hospitals that may have professionals but may not be able to respond to specialist services. These two things, and it's part of Agenda 111, His Excellency has mentioned. And again, the Accra Psychiatric Hospitals, there are plans now to reconstruct it. To a new modern hospital.
Oh, okay.
And for us, these 3 new projects, if executed, will never make us say that the service are skewed toward the south. That is it.
Okay, all right. How about, is there any legal obligation for really governments to invest into mental health?
Yes, there is a legal obligation. Apart from our constitution, that binds government to support every citizen. There's also that right to health under the UDHR, that every human being has the right to health. And right to health includes the right to mental health services. I may be healthy, I may not be having a mental health condition, but I also, and so I have right to other services. And so if I have a mental health condition, it is also my right to access services and access those services adequately. And so that is a legal obligation for government to look at and make sure that they prioritize mental health. But also I just want to add to what they said, that the government have actually improved the supply of psychotropic medication. And I think that is good news for us. Though it might not be as we want, we think it is a starting point, because we are working with self-help group members or people with mental illness in the communities. And usually what we do is encourage them to access mental health services. We want them to move away from just saying that they will have to go to the prayer camps. We are not saying they shouldn't go, but when you go there, still access services. And so when they go back to access these services and the services are not there, and to them, major part of accessing services has to do with medication, because they stay on this medication for a very long time. And so when they go there and it is not there, then there's no hope. Then they go back to the prayer camp, where sometimes the kind of the modality of treatments are not things that we actually encourage them to go to.
Okay.
And so for government to improve medication supply is good news, but we are praying and hoping that it will get to a point where it will be consistent, it will be available and throughout the year, so that when we go to the community and mobilize people to go for treatment, when they go there, the treatment will be available for them.
All right. So,
Judge,
yes.
I'd like to add up to what he
Yes.
said. You know, mental health services are supposed to be free in this country.
Supposed to be free.
Yes.
By law.
By law.
Oh, okay.
So that implies that when you are
Including even for the private.
Yes.
so if you are caught,
In a public
The
institution.
public
yeah,
institution.
if you are caught receiving money from patients, then the law is supposed to deal with you. So the issue is that if you are putting us in this very tight corner, then why are you not giving us the necessary tools to enable us work?
That's true.
And I think it's a big problem, which indeed we have to work on.
Okay.
So that is what I
So you're launching this document today?
absolutely.
Why are you doing this?
But before that,
Yes.
sorry,
Yes.
as he said, when we're talking about the 1 to 1.4% of budgetary allocation,
yeah,
you realize that all other agencies have been given the statutory right to generate their own internally generated fund. So what comes from government, it will support that internally generated fund.
Yeah.
But if you have created an authority and a service like this and say that because it's poverty-related issue, for that matter, you shall not pay, then you cannot talk about equality here. That is why I use the word equity. Yeah. So to whom much is given, much is expected. Yeah. So you've given us less, you've given us the created and not to generate, and for that matter, we should be taking at least not less than 10% of the entire allocation.
But can you actually have any bit of funds generation internally?
Internally?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, looking at what you do in your area.
It's difficult.
Exactly, yeah.
It's actually difficult.
Yeah.
Because usually from time to time we receive donations. But you can't budget donations because you might not know within the year who indeed.
Yeah, the amount that you're even going to get. Okay.
So we don't actually rely on those things.
So where are you doing this whole?
Fiesta Royal.
Okay.
Yes, at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock this morning. Yes. All right. So what should we expect at the launch? Who always come in and all that? Yeah.
Yes, we are expecting the Minister of Health to launch it this very morning. Our Chief Executive is also supposed to make a presentation on overview of the policy
and the way forward.
And the way forward. And then some other issues which my colleagues might also talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are also expecting in our midst this morning, the FCDO, that's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. The officials will be, in fact, they've been our major sponsors, formerly called DFID of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
They have been our major sponsors. The WHO representatives will also be in our midst, and our numerous other stakeholders: Psychological Council, Ghana Health Service, Christian Association of Ghana, that have to do with service providers. We are also equally talking about NGOs, basic needs, MESOC, and what have you, and of course your colleagues in the media. Will have to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anaba.
Yes, I think he has said it all. What we expect is to see that even some of the service users who will be at the end beneficiaries of these documents will definitely also be there. The NGOs, the Alliance for Mental Health and Development, which is a body of NGOs working in mental health, which have come together. Like I was saying, one NGO cannot do it all. So basic needs, we have this, almost all the NGOs who are working in mental health. We have a body called, a network called Alliance for Mental Health and Development. And definitely we will be there because at the end of the day, this policy will be very helpful to us in our community engagement.
Right. You earlier talked about the first policy that didn't have funding, which was a major problem, a setback. I hope this one has got enough funding for implementation.
Yes, we have a funding from DFID, and then as we are going to even launch this program, this policy, sorry, the SUMBI.
Yeah, SUMBI.
They are actually taking the financial aspect of the program.
All right.
Launch.
Yes.
And in addition to that, yes, they are helping us, but for the entire implementation of the policy, it still behoves on the government of Ghana to help us. Maybe the newly created levy for coronavirus health-related issues, a good portion of it should be allocated to mental health. As I said, coronavirus is not all about mortality. What people are going through, the anxiety and co. We expect that our mental health levy will be established in whichever fund the government deems it fits, so that regularly money will be sent into our mental health fund to enable us work on our mandate.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We have to leave it here. And I'll get to final words and we can wrap up.
Yes, he's saying there's a need for some very important, under the Mental Health Act, very important committees to be formed. That is the district committees, and then the tribunal, and then the visiting committees. And so, of course, if this policy is well funded by government and it led to the formation of these committees under the authority, and I'm sure mental health will be at a different level in the years to come.
Okay.
We are hoping that this document will be well implemented and there will be commitment of funding to it so that we'll be able to push mental health to the next level.
Okay, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much. And we'll be around to see how best we can support with the launch of that document.
All right.
Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's see how best we can all help promote mental health. It's very, very important. Like we've agreed here, it's not only, unfortunately, those we see on the streets, but you'll be surprised. All of us might have one mental health issue or the other, even anger problem. If you can't actually control your anger, that's itself another big issue. So let's all promote this and give it that much attention. We're going for a feature on the production of honey. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the feature.
This is Nkwanta, the municipal capital of the Nkwanta South Municipality in the Oti region of Ghana. Its regional capital is Dampai. Even though the people in Nkwanta speak Akan, the native Adeli language is also widely spoken. This area is endowed with arable lands which fund agricultural production. It is a vital part of the nation's food basket. Some of the foodstuffs cultivated here are maize, yam, cassava, and cocoa. GBC News followed up on a story it aired some years ago about beekeeping and honey making which abound in this area. Its hallmark is quality honey production, at which retailers from other regions prospect the material for respective customers. Honey is a sweetener that serves various purposes. Some use it as a medicine, while others see it as a commodity that has spiritual powers. It is a sweet food made by bees with nectar from flowers. Out of the honeycomb, honey is produced. Honey has attractive chemical properties for baking, as it gives a distinctive flavor that leads some people to prefer it over sugar and other sweeteners. It has a long history in human consumption, and it is used in various foods and beverages as a sweetener and for flavoring. Honey is also the symbol of a people and traditional areas. This is Nana Ankama, also known in private life as Vivinho David, the Mbrantehene of a daily traditional area. He has been in the honey making business for 2 decades. He was the national best beekeeper for 2013. The team followed him up to some of his farms where he demonstrated how the honey is kept, as well as how the honeycombs are harvested, processed and transformed into honey. Due to precarious nature of the bees, utmost care is taken during harvesting. In some towns, people are forewarned before bee harvesting took place. The activity could stir the flies. Thus, it is proper people took the necessary precautions to avoid being stinged. These are special protective gears worn by beekeepers before embarking on the delicate exercise of harvesting honey in high temperatures. Undertakers are driven in cars to location, and they quickly rush back to the car to escape the marauding bees after the harvesting. Another safety measure is the use of smoke to repel the bees.
Because of the bees, the way to attract the bees to come inside the beehives. That's why we have been putting the hives on the trees. So you can see that we put all the hives on the trees. So when they get inside, then we lift them down on the stand. Now the fire is trying to attack the farm. So we are trying to make the beehives to set it on the stand so that it will be fit.
Nanankama told GBC News that the honey business is lucrative, although it is a difficult venture.
I was stung by one of them when I went to barrier to snap them the camera.
I start the business and then get money. Since when you see the building, this building, the school, that's beekeeping training school. It is because of this business. And then the office, that one, some supported me. And before then, I have my own car that I'm using for the business. And then even the house that I am now is because of this business. So the business helped me a lot. Honey business is more than cocoa, because cocoa farming almost about 2 years, 3 years. But honey business 1 year, you can even harvest 2 times, 3 times in a year. So when you used to when you compare it into cocoa farming, you see that the beekeeping project is better than cocoa. We do the good job about the bee farming project. So I plead Nana Adudanko Akufo-Addo to support us so that the one district, one factory, they should help us to develop it here in Nkwanta here, so that if anybody wants the training, should rather come here and then to get the good training, so that it will help Ghana.
He said he has trained more than 2,000 people in beekeeping and honey processing. He has established a training center which imparts skills to the youth. Nana Nkama also runs a consultancy for organizations outside his enclave. The news team observed that Nana Nkama and the beekeepers have mounted some of the beehives training center, which is located within a residential area, but he said no cause for alarm as they handle them professionally.
As you can see the hives around all the farm, if you don't open it, then the bees will not attack you.
The chief of Paripari, Nana Atewusu Foster, indicated that due to threats posed by bush burning and other forest destructive activities, strong bees in the forest have migrated to some areas not conducive for the inhabitants. The bees have sought refuge on electric poles, among other places not suitable for them.
Nti sese no aman mboa no ewura light pole mu tokuro bi omu a na omu awura asase no kura na ebi omu wom nti yesra ban ne se ombe boaye me ohene wo kurumu ha nti minimu aduma no a ewo ho nti box na ye kura no in fact wan kasa obachi afoma a yewo ha kura na wani baje ho kwa nti yesra ban so omfa ne nsamba shem emboaye na aduma no koso ma oman no.
Secretary to the Beekeepers Association of Nkwanta South Municipality gave an account of the growing membership of the association, which they started with few, but now they have over 200 members.
The year 2000 were few, but now I can say the registered members are more than 200 registered members.
So tell us your challenge.
I was saying about the challenges. One is fire outbreak. And then some animals attack the bees. Besides that, we also have some people like thieves during the night when we are not around. To go and then steal the money and then destroy the hive.
GBC News met with the Nkwanta chief of a Adelaide traditional area, Nana Boafo Amwa, also a beekeeper. He said they have vast land and forests in which beekeeping ventures can be undertaken. He therefore appealed for support to establish a facility to process honey. He said the area is ready to tap into the 1D, 1F initiative of government.
If the government can come and create this as a one district, one factory, I will be very grateful. The chiefs will be very grateful because it's going to create employment for the youth. And this is going to stop the youth from traveling from here to Accra to the urban cities or the cities where they'll be going suffering and then sometimes getting diseases or sickness.
GBC News also visited Nkwanta Market, where a leading member of the Bee Association, Solomon Seche, lamented the adulteration of the market by fake honey producers. He said the issue has cast a slur on their business. He commended the police for helping to arrest persons selling fake honey to unsuspecting members of the public. An Australian missionary, Stephen Williams, who has been in the honey-making business for the past 20 years, appealed for government's intervention in any form to sustain the business.
Preparation to the bush, the other enterprise.
And one goal.
We are preparing towards the bush.
So it's a very hard.
In this app, we have loaded the car.
And
we are moving on to the bush.
You know how you go about your political thing here, but you really have to do something about that.
The other enterprise. Preparation to the bush loading.
Says that theft, bushfire, and other forest degradation activities to the industry. He indicated that they are collaborating with the Beekeepers Association to keep the formal skills in beekeeping are crying for help, especially the need for an assistance to redefine the product, such as value addition before export.
Okay.
northern part of the Volta region, now in the Oti region, to live with his auntie.
Initially, when he joined me, I wanted to see him as somebody who would not be able to. He would always tell me, I'll go with you. And each time we went to the farm, whatever others are doing, he does same. If it is weeding, those who are physically fit are not able to finish their lanes before him.
I remember in 2008, there's a barber in Damanku. I met him, I recruited him to join the Zoom Lion as a decent employment. So when his first salary came, those days allowances, rent and paid, it was on table. And he said, those days, he would normally pass with his two brothers. And they saw me weaving to get money and go to school, and they laughed. Like, even they that were able could not farm and go to school. How will I be able to do that? So if he knew that someone could labor on people's farm and go to school, his two brothers wouldn't have dropped out of school.
He was enrolled at Damanko Local Authority Junior High School, where he completed his junior high education in 1995.
I had a close study of him, and I realized that he was very serious with his studies, both on campus and at home. In fact, whenever he came home, instead of moving about and mingling with friends, I realized that he was always indoors and concentrating on his studies. And that made me actually devote much time for him, for his education.
Whilst in Damanko, Joshua played an active role in the St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church.
Na mi ofie na Yesu abehwe me oho ena wakachire maami bi efe no safo a ya santini ono so ko udoman wasi hwe sara ko doctor fa no konkwanta yakobi kasa no na wo na fo doctor ho o mo se mame hwe na ansa se me hwe se mentini a na mo de na to aso na Yesu an ko ma o na kwanta doctor fo kasa doctor no wo hwe me no so o betiri nti ka ma to kumanti na o mfa me nko nkwanta na oba na odi ni ma me no oba no hwe me saa mleni ye koni eba ye koni ba yentia ye koni eba ye koni ba yentia da manya hodin no na ma me ni bi sa lokuta na se se ye ka ye sen wasi Jesu ase manya ntia o be faka o be tia ni hwe na ni ka fa no biye na se ni na ni se ya di hira no Omana hodin, omana hundu na hodin. Ni eju na ko de ma se wondu no nya ko kan ha bibia. Ni hia me de kan ho. Ni ya na no, urari hye na na mu. Omana hodin foforo, na fa yo bi sara.
In the church, he was very serious. He read the Bible, translated, and then led a prayer group in the church. That almost every time he was also in the church and then saying the word of God.
This is where Joshua met his spiritual father, Reverend Father Daniel Kwame Edinkra.
Since I got to know him at Damanku, since 2000, we go for Gruto, that is, we embark on this pilgrimage. Every year is an annual program. We meet at Tukurano. He's always there. If it is parish program, you invite him, he's there. When he comes through and we are in the church contributing, they see what he also does. Sometimes people become, how can we are doing this, and people who are able, who have able bodies sit down and he comes in.
Growing up in such a community, acceptance was a major problem. You feel you were not accepted, you were not part of anything. So at all points in time, you want to struggle to be part. And if you are not lucky, you are stopped. But when Father came around, at least that thing was worked on. Because looking at me when father is around, even when he's eating. I have the opportunity to sit with him. He'll be talking with me, and then whilst he'll be eating. When there's something to be done, he wouldn't look at it that, oh, I will not be able to do it. He will assign me. So I felt accepted. And getting the opportunity to be around a Reverend Father in Damanko, such a community is like, society also sees you now as somebody. Somebody will come and ask you, when is father coming? Or is father around? And you feel that you are now also being useful to society. So I was encouraged and emboldened to continue whatever I was doing.
With this acceptance and self-worth, Joshua got involved in almost every activity of the church. He led a prayer group and took serious interest in evangelism. His passion for evangelism saw him walking into communities on the outskirts of Damanko and going as far as Danado, 4 kilometers away. He played a major role in the setting up of the St. Michael Catholic Church at Danado. From Damanko LAJSS, he gained admission to the St. Mary's Junior Seminary School at Lulubi.
I was supposed to have gone to St. Charles in Tamale, but because of the conflict and being a Kunkomba, I couldn't have gone to Tamale. So Father Eugene then got admission for me at St. Mary's Seminary, minor seminary school, secondary school at Lulubi. But for the fear that I'll become a priest, which my father was not comfortable with, I went to the school. I had to stay with the senior housemaster for 3 good weeks. And they were not ready to come and pay my fees. So the senior housemaster, Mr. Ogbe, then advised me to come back home.
This took him to Saboba EP Senior Secondary School, where he read general science.
Academically, they were surprised all of us. They were the first batch of our science students. His first year, we had a speech and prize giving day. And out of the 11 prizes that were to be awarded, Joshua took 8. The 8th one, when he was going for it, I remember very well that his classmates took the stick from him so that he could not go for it any longer. So we had to shout on them to give it to him. In his 3rd year, he was the library prophet. But initially, we had the intention of making him the senior prophet. But he objected to it. I invited him to my office with the senior housemaster that he would like to be in the library. I said, okay, once you want the library, no problem. Not knowing that Joseph wanted to be in the library and to be sleeping in the library and to be reading. Even though not from Samoa, Joshua would not go home during the holidays. Joshua would want to stay in school and do the reading. There was a scholarship that was being given by the Germans, and being academically good, the school supported him for paying the school fees while he looks out for his feeding.
I went to secondary school with my elder brother. It was a day school. We only had town. Then you have to walk on daily basis from the school. You close, come home, cook, eat, and then go back to prep and come back in the evening, in the night around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So it was a big hassle. But you know, as siblings, there are times you get to disagree on certain things. So when those days came, it was difficult getting his services. So what I had to do is, there was a dam called Madani on our way to the school. So during the day after school, I would send a bucket to Madani. Then I wait when everybody had passed to prep. Then I'll take my bath, leave the bucket there. And when we close from prep around 9:30, I'll just speak to a classmate. And that's one thing. not so intelligent, but I was the brightest among my peers. So most of the students would normally come to me in mathematics and sometimes science. So because I had some friends around, so whenever I come, I beg them, then they'll fetch the water and take it to the hostel for me. Then the following day in the morning, I'll pick it to the bathroom myself, then take my bath. There are times I have to stay TZ for myself, normally when the disagreement came around. So, and I wash by myself. On Saturdays, I pick my clothes, I went to the dump site, and then I wash. I could actually handle a bucket with my distance and walk for a distance to do the laundry. I realized that the only way to make up for my deficiency was through education. And my dad was also passionate about my education. I went to do an interview for entrance into the laboratory technology program at Kwelibu Teaching Hospital. They had just introduced it. So on that fateful day, something happened. When one of the guys was detailed to come and take our results and certificates, when he was taking the result, he got to me. He said, are you sure you can do the course? It has to do with lab work. Can you handle it? So you wait. Let me go inside and find out. So he went inside, came out, and then took my documents again. At that point, I was so demoralized, disappointed, very confused. So I knew from the word go, I was going to be denied admissions.
Ho Polytechnic, now Ho Technical University, was his next educational stop, where he studied for 3 years, obtaining a higher national diploma HND in statistics. Not satisfied, he went to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, NUTS, for his undergrad education, graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Actuarial Science. From NUTS, for 2 years, he pursued a Master's of Philosophy in Business Administration, in Risk Management and Insurance at the Business School of Ghana's premier university, the University of Ghana.
What is most painful is that when you are completing the admission form, they ask whether there's a person with you are a person with disability or not. Then you indicate it. You get there, you say there are lecture blocks on the ground floor, but your lectures will not be there. You may have to climb to the 3rd floor or 4th floor. No lift. You have to go through by the stairs. And I thought that was an artificial barrier because, fine, the building was not accessible, but there were ground floors. And if they are sensitive to the plight of persons with disability, I think the ground floors will be reserved for classes where we have persons with disability. And that's another thing I observed, both on KNUST campus, Legon campus, and even in other offices. You go to play and they say, no taxis allowed beyond this point, which means that you have to alight and walk to where you are going. There's sometimes, you know the way lectures are arranged, sometimes your lecture is around 1 o'clock. The sun will be very hot. You get to that place and you have to alight your bag, the other things. So it got to a point I was not even taking my laptop again to classes. I just go with an exercise book, jot some notes, and then come back. And these are artificial barriers. I've always been saying that that particular one, yes, no taxi allowed beyond this point. Could they have just moved a step further to say, except taxis that persons with disabilities are on board, so that at least, even if the school one, they can even give you some special ID card. When you get there, you show it, and they will allow the taxi to take you there.
Say, government be back. None of what I am say. Ghana be so papa you here new. Papa you scan you. School media, as I say, a Quambra announced here. Want to be close to
Politically, Joshua is described as a grassroots person. In 2016, he had an eye for the position of District Chief Executive for Nkwanta, Unfortunately, this did not materialize. How did he get into politics, and was he the most qualified for the position?
I was not the most qualified. I am not the most qualified, and I don't think I'll be the most qualified as far as the MPP in Oti region is concerned. My first encounter one-on-one with the president, I was standing at the Color Secretariat. Then he was coming from behind when he wanted to become the presidential candidate. So he held me from the back and said, "Alpha, yeah, boom." That was just what he said. Shook my hands and left. My appointment by the president, I don't know. I am still figuring what could have led to that. Doing politics, they will tell you that a young guy like you need to have a political godfather, you need to have a financier and other things. But starting from the gut, it was difficult for me. Who will be putting his money into a context involving a person with disability in our society? So it was very, very difficult raising sponsorship. But God also works in very mysterious ways.
The time I met him, then we were in opposition, 208. Anybody that brings his problem to him, he will not see that you came from different tribe or you came from another tribe. He solved everybody's problems for him.
Are people surprised with his new position?
I wasn't in the least surprised because he's somebody who is always dedicated to whatever assignment you give him.
No, freedom, I can't see in Konya and just regional. And so,
I'm not surprised that of the position Joshua has got. That is what God has ordained for him. His disability doesn't mean he's not capable. He's capable.
Life on the campus of Ghana's premier university was not an easy one.
I'm a student. I pay my fees, I pay my levies, grassroots dues, but I'm not able to watch the television. The reading room, I'm not able to access it because the reading room apparently is at the top. And if you have to climb, by the time you get there, you start panting. But if it is Wagon Hall, the reading room is on the ground floor. And you can access it at any time. So they should take some of these things into consideration so that we are not saying they should go and build a new school altogether for us. But look within, and just by way of policy, life will be interesting.
Such are the struggles of persons living with disabilities. It is over a decade now since the passage of the Persons with Disability Act 2006, Act 715. What has changed?
The list talked about the Persons with Disability Act, the better. Thus, I have not seen any part of the Persons with Disability Act being implemented in Ghana. If you look at the Persons with Disability Act, the built environment, they stated after some 10 years, those that were already there before the coming into force of the act, they should rework on them. And from that time, any building that was being put up should be made accessible. But you and I know very well that it has never happened that way. Well, you get to a point they say they have lifts. Fine, but lift when it comes to disability, what if there's no electricity? If the lift becomes non-functional, do about it. And the structures are still like that. The new structures that are being put up are like that. And you get to places like hospitals, tertiary level hospitals, tertiary level educational institutions, go to ministries, several government agencies, and you ask yourself, do I belong here?
Oti is a cosmopolitan region how will he manage the expectations of the people?
He can turn Oti around because he has that he interacts with the people, the cross section of people, not just a segment, but all the segment of.
He doesn't see himself as one who is physically challenged. He does it and does it better. I know he will be able to perform marvelously.
Or hard working because Menana Nancy, you know. Minama for Rabbi Nancy, but Menana Nancy, but who say, oh, a good man. Such as and a Juma year and a Bibia.
I know this week he can do it because he has everything that shows that he can do it. I don't normally see him to be a physically challenged person, no. Because I know he's very, very hardworking and very, very intelligent. All he has to do the work, he has it. It's just about the brain, and he has everything.
Now, when I became the district employment coordinator in Nkwanta here, I went around the whole of Nkwanta, and I realized that there were some people who needed a voice, especially in the rural communities, and I started the community work from that level. My impact in society was actually what I was struggling to be able to.
4 decades in counting, a long life's journey, he held a number of positions: library prefect, president, Scripture Union, president, Young Catholic Students, and a member of the General Assembly at Hull Polytechnic. He was once the assistant catechist, International Movement of Catholic Students, and chairman, Vetting Committee, Graduate Students Association, University of Ghana. At Highways, a suburb of Nkwanta, is where Joshua, through his own hard work, has put up this house. His home is open to all, and it serves as a point for the community as their source of potable water. All are ready to support Joshua to succeed.
He should continue to be as humble as he has always been, and continue with his worship with God and humanity. He should continue to be as humble as he has always been. He is that type who easily empathizes with people. He should continue to do that. His position should not make him swelling-headed and forget of his Almighty God.
He should cool down, mellow himself for the people, so that it is the people should work on him. He should allow that because he knows what he's coming to do.
Acceptance and encouragement is all persons with special needs need to make life meaningful.
And there's something people don't know. Persons with disability, because of the society, we are already down. There are some little things you need to bring me up. What persons with disability need to know when you find them around you, not to pity them, but accept them. Just let them feel that somebody cares is enough to let us go.
Joshua is currently pursuing a PhD in finance at the University of Ghana Business School. The appointment of Joshua Makubu to the office of Regional Minister is an indication that when persons with special needs are given the push, they will contribute their quota to national development. This is also a clear message to parents with children with special needs that instead of writing such persons off and hiding them inside, they should rather give them the right start through education. And as his surname Makubu means, death does not kill in an orderly way in Konkomba, so can it be said that death does not kill based on strength or weakness. Today, Joshua, the supposed weakest link of the family, has become the strongest link, a shade for all. For when preparation meets opportunity, success is assured.
All right, welcome back. So that was a documentary on the stuff. Very inspirational one there. Check with your time, exactly 8 o'clock. And then this is the breakfast show. We move straight into our newspaper review segment where we're going to run with the day's top news. So I have seated next to me It's Honorable Ayepe, who is a former honorable member of parliament for Ayensuano. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
But it's been a while.
Charlie. How's your area doing? How's
not bad. Ayensuano is doing very well. Projects are going on with some few road projects which are waiting for payment. Contractors have raised certificates, and there's a need for the road fund to pay them so that they can go to continue the good work that they were doing. And as a former MP and a former chairman for Roads Committee in Parliament who lobbied for those projects to be awarded, I'm also helping the contractors to get their money so that they can quickly go back. And you know, road construction is pre-financed, so the contractor ought to pre-finance the project, and then when IPC, the interim certificate payment of payment is issued, the contractor will be paid. Others are still chasing them, and it's my wish that the road fund will quickly get money and then pay those contractors so they can go back and start working for those roads for us. Ayensuano, we've gone very far, except that we have some bad roads that fortunately are under construction, and it's my wish that the contractors will be able to complete the work, and then we'll be able to compare ourselves to our neighboring constituencies.
All right. Then we also have Peter Tekwe. Peter is a policy analyst, and he's a big man in the Church of Pentecost. I agree to you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
I hope things are good.
They're great. It's always keeping us.
How's the Church of Pentecost doing?
Oh, God is helping us to possess the nation.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right. And your area, your hometown, is this Sumenya?
Yes. I've always been making a passionate appeal to the education minister for my senior high school. Senior high school. Yeah. We are seriously deficient in infrastructure, especially dormitory. The wooden dormitory is terrible. The old students, we've done our bit, but the tax is huge, and we need support. That's the only senior high school in the town there.
Okay.
Only government senior high school.
And then Gilbert Ibrahim. Gilbert is a member of the NDC communication team. Gilbert, good morning to you.
Good morning, George.
Hope you're good.
By His grace, God has been good.
How is the NDC doing?
NDC is very strong, stronger than you can imagine. Yes.
Okay.
And I just want to take an opportunity to say good morning to our General Secretary and congratulate him on his appointment and swearing.
This appointment
yes.
This appointment of issues.
His able deputy who is holding his back strongly and keeping the party on the ground, Peter Boamotokono. That young man is a very smart man. He's very intelligent. I admire him a lot.
Peter. All right, let's start off. Yesterday we had a release from the Information Ministry on certain directives given by the President that the Ghana Armed Forces have begun an operation to remove all persons engaged in mining in water bodies in Ghana. The operation, which started yesterday on President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's directive, took off on the River Pra in the central region and the western region with 200 soldiers who picked up some people and also seized some equipment. The statement announced that the operation was signed and issued by the Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Opoku Nkrumah, yesterday. Said the President's directive was pursuant to the resolution of the final communique of the stakeholders dialogue on small-scale mining held on April 14. The operation, Mr. Opoku Nkrumah explained, was to, quote, ensure that mining within the water bodies is immediately stopped, unquote. He indicated that the Ministry of Defense and the Ghana Armed Forces will provide a detailed brief on the development and sustainable efforts tomorrow, which is tomorrow, Friday. The action is the latest being taken by the government to curb this whole challenge we have with Galamsey after a directive was given by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abujinako, suspending all any concession given out and prospecting in the forest reserve as part of measures to safeguard the nation's natural resources. The President's directive follows a renewed call to fight illegal mining that has become a threat to the environment, particularly water bodies and forest reserves. At the National Consultative Dialogue on Small-Scale Mining in Accra 2 weeks ago, participants described illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, as a national emergency that required urgent and concrete efforts to deal with. The President, opening the forum, called for an impartial and non-partisan dialogue for the country to reach a consensus on a sustainable method of mining our minerals. He said that there were things that could be discussed along party lines, but issues bordering on small-scale mining and the requirement to do away with illegalities in the sector should be beyond partisan politics. So I'll leave it here. Gilbert, I'll start with you on this. When we saw the pictures yesterday, the water bodies just, especially the pra, where they started the operations, so bad. So bad. Talk of this is a place that we took some successes in the past when they started the fight against illegal mining. But it's a renewed one now. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, and a good morning to our cherished viewers. You see, there's a saying that you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Whatever the move of the president has been, or is the latest one, it's something that we have done already. Is it the first time we are committing soldiers to get to the grounds to stop the Galamsey? This is not the first time. Hopefully, this will not be the last time. But let me ask this question. Are they giving counter instructions, or is working with his minister? Because the minister, we are aware, has announced some laydown. He's even on the ground visiting the traditional authorities to ensure this is done. Then the president comes. And I didn't see any link between this president action and the one cut out by the sector minister to fight this Abu.
But I understand this action is coming from the communique issued.
Those are issued.
Yes, I mean from the
and how are they
dialogue.
Okay, cool. If you have that information, then I'll leave it there. But let me put it bare. We've been talking about this. But I must state that by economic reasoning and environmental pollution or externalities, the major cause of this one, it's all bottled on what we call property rights. The main cause of this environmental degradation is property right. And property right here by definition means who owns, who exhibits responsibility and control over that space. And since we do not know who exhibits the control, it will be classified as a public good. And with public goods, one of the major issues of public goods is property right. When you do not define and properly situate the property right, you're going to have this kind of damage to the environment. Let me illustrate it briefly like this. If you enter this studio and I drink, say, pure water, I'm not able to just throw the wrapper here because somebody owns here. It pricks me. But let me get out to the roadside. Nobody owns it. I can just throw in the gutter and walk away and my conscience is free. Because there is no property right. Nobody owns it and ensures that something is done. That's the same for the forest. Even though we all say it's for government, and we all say it's for the government.
Farms, I mean, traditional owners, there are farmers who are giving out their farms, cocoa farmers giving out their cocoa land.
Yes, so you see that if you address the property right properly, you redefine the demarcation and know which traditional authority is here. And you know that that is where problem is coming. Then you tighten it and make sure that the right thing is done within that property rights signal. It will work more effectively than sending your man to go and beat people and push them out of it, because they wake up and start to become very responsible. And I've heard some big chiefs already coming out to speak strongly against it. That's where we have to start.
Against the military?
Against, no, the Galamsey issue and the pollution of the water. At least I heard a chief within the Eastern community, came strongly on that. That is a good move. And I don't see government moving towards that issue of the property right. By using force, using military to go there and brutalize and probably whatever. We have tried it, it's not working. Let's get back to the property right. Redefine those areas and know which traditional authority they fall, which families they fall within, and then what is the role of the state there. They collaborate, take responsibilities for them, and ensure that just as you can come to my backyard and do anything at my backyard, you cannot enter the forest that is within my responsibility in terms of property right to do anything like that. Then it will achieve it. And then I heard a university, I read an article, they said within a week or two, be able to restore the water. Bring the academia in, they are talking. Let's try them, but what is there to lose? And that's the University of Mines They came out strongly that this is something that can be done.
It was actually done. I mean, when we started the fight previously, and the media even got involved and all that, and they had to stop. Same directive was given. After a week or two, the water, everything cleared because they had to stop the activities.
Yes.
Everything cleared and it went back to its normal.
So that means they are actually right that they're able to do. Why are we sitting down playing the political chess and allowing a strong institution like that is specialized in this area to sit down there and rot? They train people and we don't even use that human resource to achieve what we want to achieve. For the goal, we all agreed.
When we get to that stage, they have to stop the mining.
No, the point is, that's where I'm saying that they are laid down. It's not a rocket science. Then I also read essays from the Chinese embassy and the ambassador specifically stating that there are Chinese people in South Africa. Why are they not doing the illegal mining there? Because the people are so responsible that they will not allow it. The citizens will not. And the government will not. And the punishment for it is huge. They will not try. But Ghana, we, the citizens, we, the community people, and the government are sleeping. And we are not responsible for our environment. That's where the property right comes in. Who owns it? Who takes responsibility for it? We define it properly. And if there are some royalties to it, that the traditional council will benefit from it. So that if you do not degrade it to that level, the traditionals too will benefit strongly from it, and it is defined. They will begin to take responsibility to ensure that you do not get to that level. So we get back to issues of externalities, which are negative, and look at the guideline principles, there are rules in economics that you can use. One of the major one is property right, which we can enforce. And make sure we put it right and get this thing done. The ministry will just come and give them backing and support, and then everybody will be responsible. Because if you go to those communities, the chiefs and people and the elders can tell you every single soul who is deep into this galamsey. And they're able to call them to order. And nobody will get there. Until then, what the president has said, as usual, will be talk, smooth talking, and no action because he's known for talking and doesn't walk his talk.
But there's action now.
Where? Since when?
This one, yesterday.
Look, I am saying since he's assumed presidency, it's been talk, and he doesn't walk his talk.
Okay. Let's move to YFA.
Well,
the president's commitment.
That is an action, and let me congratulate the president from this move and greet him this morning, His Excellency the President and his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Maumia. My brother, yes, we tried it before, and it worked. And then at a point in time, we said we have succeeded in keeping our waters clean. So what next? We can't allow the gold to be in the soil. So we have to mine it. So we decided to have a program to recognize and license small-scale miners and then monitor them or guide them to mine the gold for us. But the problem here is that there's a thin line between legal mining, which is called the small-scale mining, and the galamsey. The land is so thin that if care is not taken and proper monitoring is not done, these small-scale miners, the licensed small-scale miners, are the same people who are doing the galamsey. And I repeat, they are the same people who are doing the galamsey. So when you demarcate for them, and it says we have 100 meters away from river bodies, so you can just pump the water 100 away from the river body, process your gold, and then you use a process to process the water before it enters the river. That same people, the next time you go there, they are rather having chamfines on the river and mining at the bed of the river. So you see, if you look at this galamsey, go deep there, you will see that they are licensed small-scale miners, which have been licensed by the state to do proper small-scale mining. So what the president is saying is that we did not license anybody to mine in the waters. So go. Anybody that you see mining in our water bodies, flash them out. And that's only what you are going to do. I agree perfectly with him. Some of the issues he raised about property ownership is being done in some way, but it needs some addition. For instance, these are forests reserved were taken by the traditional authorities and the communities during the colonial time. Some were paid compensation, some there were some gentleman agreement. Land was very cheap then. People were not interested in what is land. Even though the one that we have, we have not been able to cultivate it. So if the colonial masters say that we want to reserve this, and I don't know whether they do some research before reserving the land. All our foreign reserves are having higher deposits of gold and other minerals in it. So before you can get the gold, you must destroy the forest. So we must try to find ourselves, to ask ourselves, what do we want? To take the gold and destroy the environment, or we have a way of taking the gold from the soil without destroying our environment? So for me, I think it is a good call. But what we have to do is to stop both the legal miners and the illegal miners, the small-scale miners and the licensed small-scale miners and the guarantees. Everybody should stop. That's what we did previously. We stop everybody.
Now, we're not being unfair to those who have acquired this league.
Yes, but they are the same people doing the guarantee. They are the same. My brother, I said they are the same people doing the guarantee. So stop. You have violated the agreement we had with you. So stop. Now, when they stop and we get our waters clean, then we come to what my brother just raised. Is there something that we can do to make sure that the ownership of these lands and water bodies are clearly defined? Okay, then when we do that, then what can we do to deepen the line between a small-scale miner and a galamsey? So if the line is clear, deepened, and monitored, because these 200 soldiers are going to stop them, we get clean waters, and the question is, what next? Are we going to get a task force that will continue to monitor the activities of the licensed small-scale miners? Well, whether I like it or not, we are going to mine it. And people are limiting the effects, the bad effects of galamsey to the destruction of the environment. No, destruction of human resource. Go to where the galamsey, you will see foreigners who are coming in and indulge in all sorts of criminal activities involving the local youth. The people in the community don't go to school, they don't learn a trade, and the chemicals they use in processing the gold get into their bodies. The common ailments in some of these areas are kidney failures and lung cancer or lung disorder, and it's very common, and they die. So don't say that, we are destroying the environment, that muddy our waters. Go there, find out how many of them are going to school. Don't forget the fact that gold is not a renewable resource. It is not. So you mine it, it got finished, you didn't go to school, you didn't learn any trade, then they turn to armed robbers, pick gun, and they come after us. So as leaders, we have a responsibility to protect the environment, to protect the human resource we have in this country. I cited a writer by a Chinese High Commissioner to Ghana. And what he said, do the Chinese know where the gold is in Ghana?
I think he refers to the same.
I traveled to China and did transit in Dubai, and I saw the number of Chinese in the flight that was moving from Dubai to Ghana. And I asked myself, what are they coming to do? Somebody said, when you travel to Western region, you see the excavators moving in convoy. We didn't see them. What are they going to do? Legal mining? Galamsey? I did my first national service in the community in Dukofinko Ameyao. You know, there were times you do the first national service, and then after graduation you do another one. My first one before graduation, I was teaching in the junior high school in the community. You go there, but then they were doing the galamsey. They were using shovels, pickers. They have a diameter not even bigger than the diameter of this table. They dip in there, they go there. So you even go into the forest, you see galamsey going there with the trees standing there, doing very well and fresh. They were not destroying the environment.
But now they are using heavy equipment.
At the point in time, as young teachers, we go to River Subin. River Subin is a stream that connects to River Fing. We go there, we go and buy fish, different kinds of fishes. Then as young guys, we come and palm our fufu, our banku, with our pepper soup. Life in those communities were very nice. Today, what happens? We are using excavators. Chamfine! Chamfine is a machine that sits on the river and stretch its cutting edge to the size or the depth of the river, cutting the water, processing it, take the gold, and deposit the muddy water in the water. That is what we are seeing. University mines and energy also universities, they have developed a device that can clean the water for us. Not when they are still working. You cannot do that. They must stop working. That was why the first Deputy Speaker of the 7th Parliament once said that we did not understand him, that shoot at a distance. In fact, if we have gone to witness what Galamseyers are doing to our environment and to our youth, and we have the ability to shoot and kill them, because you can't go to where they are.
Wrap up for me. Let me go.
So to me, it's a good call. The president has, but we are pleading with those task force and the military to also be fair. Yeah. Because we got to know that at a point in time, they also compromise their stand. No matter how strong you are, either you compromise to join them or you lose your seats if you're a politician. And so a politician like me. Most of the MPs in these Galamsey areas lost their seats. And I'm pleading, this fight is not for an individual. It's for all of us, the politicians, I don't see political parties, because if I go there and I say that I am MPP, I'm fighting the Galamseyers, then the NDC will go there and say that, oh, don't mind them, he's just disturbing you. When you vote for me, I'll make sure that you do your work and do it well. I have videos that during the 2020 elections, some NDC campaigners went to the Galamsey site, not the communities, the site, to assure the Galamseyers that when we win power, we'll make sure that nobody will come and disturb you, and we'll give you the support to do your work and do it well. He's talking about. I agree. Yes, but I have the video here. Not true. I can give you
just wrap up for me.
But in wrapping up, he made mention of South Africa. There's one thing is difficult to say.
Okay.
In South Africa, ANC knows that whether rain or shine, ANC will win. So if you are doing illegal mining and ANC government is coming on you, they don't look left, they don't look right. Look at what we started. And I can see as I sit here that the government softened its stance close to 2020.
No, the government got compromised. That is the bedrock.
Yeah.
Because
that player may be your word. That is not the word that has
the party that
he wants.
We all heard that
because that was going to 2020 election.
And they see, we not watching and to do the same. That's when they lost
the Galamsey politics. This time around, let us come together. That's why the current minister is calling everybody, all hands on deck. Let us work together as a team, as Ghanaians. We cannot reverse the destruction that we are doing like they did before environment. Okay. So we should come together as Ghanaians, not as various political.
But I hope we've learned some lessons. Because this same directive was given in the past.
I want to assure you, and they collected it and they went into the money themselves. Assure you and your listeners that this time round
the party will not do it again.
Nothing. Nobody. And the minister have said it, and the president have said it. If you are a party guru, if you are a party guru and you are doing Galamsey, the president is coming at you. Okay, Peter.
Thank you very much. Successive governments have done a lot to fight this menace. But we did not succeed as a people because we have failed ourselves to hold ourselves accountable to what is right. You know, before you are given a license to mine, there are processes. And it is stated clearly in the document that is given to you. The process of mining is completely stated. You agree to it. But you see, after the license is given in Accra, nobody follows to check where he's going to do the mining. So he takes the document, I have the license to mine. He goes to the site and he realizes that, that can use shortcuts to do the mining. Because the process is clearly stated. Nobody is there to supervise, nobody is there to check. So what I can do to quickly get my money out, he started. Nobody comes to check. And that is where we have failed. So that has continued, and other people have seen the way they are doing it. Then they also came in to start illegally. So the person who has the license to do it gets to the field and is using the wrong method. The person who doesn't have the license sees the method he's using and knows that he can also use it. So he also joins. So nobody comes to check. And we've gotten to this level. Now, what we need now is a practical solution. Because we understand the problem and we know the problem. We don't need to gather people and be talking to them about the menace and the negative impact of Galamsey on the good people of Ghana. Because we know the problem. What we need now is action. And action to be driven by people with some level of integrity who will not be compromised.
I like that.
That is the most important thing. Now, the stage you have reached now, it is not now about dialogue. Because if you are going to dialogue, the process that the people have been involved in have got to destroy the resource that we have. What is needed is a very drastic action. We need to approach it in a very aggressive manner. That is why His Excellency, the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, started that approach. So you know that in recent time when all the excavators were seized, they were being brought to Accra. We see that yes, the real action has begun. Then all of a sudden, the same excavators started getting out of the system again. From where they brought them. So who is the cause? It is not the president, who is at the Jubilee House, who has asked people to champion this cause. That is why we have failed ourselves.
But nobody has been punished.
The information got to him.
So the issue is that if you want to punish someone, they will tell you where's your evidence. You get the thing? And so if you are a leader and you want to handle issues of such nature, there are two aspects. Some leadership gurus will tell you that setting up committees to deal with issues is a waste of time. Some of the propositions of some leadership experts. Because setting up committees are just ways of just putting aside the real issue. Because to get evidence, some of them can travel for a long time. And that is what we are facing now. The situation about Galamsey, we don't need committees. We need real actions. Whereby we will go every length and say that we are stopping it, just like what they have introduced now. Now, what I want it to be done is that let's set up an office in this where the mining are taking place. Put the security in charge, those with people who can fight it. Let's put them in the middle of the community where these Galamseys take place. So their office is established there, so that when he picks up his license from Accra, going to the field to mine, there is an office that is going to ensure that the right processes are followed. So somebody is on the ground who is monitoring. Otherwise, today the military will go and fight it. They will go and flush them out. When everything is okay, they will come back. When the people who are supposed to go and mine goes back, who goes to monitor them again? It will get worse off we will have to come back again and then come and then set up another committee or ask another set of military people to go back and fight it again. So it will just be recycling. So to be able to go to the extra length to fight this, we have got to a stage whereby we don't need to sit down and dialogue anymore. That is why the best time to fight it is now. You see, one of the challenges that I foresee from the president is that they will say that in your first term you started very well. When you get into election, it slowed down. Now this is your last term. Think of the party's future. If you do it now, what is the party's future? They will say you have come to destroy. So somebody who will come to succeed you, you are destroying the ground for him. Yeah. So president, slow down. These are the things that are obvious that goes on in the political sector. But if the president can close his eyes and get this done the way he promised, he said that this is second term, he himself stated when he met the chief, that he will go every length to do it. If you do that, that is one of the best legacies he will leave for this country as a president.
Okay. I just hope that we can just finish up this. But honorable, just a quick one. You say your area, what happens there is what? Illegal sandwich.
Yeah, it's even more dangerous than the Galamsey. Because for Galamsey, you may even have a point that you dig in down there. But the illegal sand mining is surface mining, where they mine the sand. So, and what's happening in my constituency, the farmers, you know, they are mostly peasant farmers. So, you'll be in the house during the night. You'll go there, clear all your crops, and gather the sand. The next day when you go to farm, you see your crops being destroyed. And then you ask, oh, how much will you take? But the proper thing is that if you are coming to win sand, you must come properly. And then you value the crops that I have on the land. You pay me before you go and have access to the plant. But you see, the powers that be comes together. And then you go there, you see them fully armed with land gas. And they destroy the farmers' property on their land. And they win the sand. You see, yes, we need sand. When you travel to India and other areas, they process the rocks to get sand. And they don't fetch rare sand soil, fertile soil to build houses again. These are things of the past. We must try to look into how we can get technology to process sand and then to fetch raw sand from the ground for building. This thing should be the thing of the past. And it's affected some politicians like myself.
Why? What happened?
Well, I don't want to go deep, but the sand winners organize themselves, team up with my DC and some chiefs and organize money for my opponent. And here we are. And then the people have regretted. Today, as I sit, they are calling me because the sand winners are now having a full day. And I was using my influence as an MP, getting in touch with the police commanders, getting in touch with the military, to fight them. Now there's nobody that to do it for them. So it's a problem. And this is what you've seen from me, what you heard from me. Other MPs also lost their seat, especially in this Galamsey area because they were fighting Galamsey.
But in some ways, another issue that we're not looking at. I mean, especially the illegal aspect of it.
You know, with the I don't really have a lot of knowledge there. But when you come to my home region too, we also have this environmental problem of felling of trees and burning of charcoal, savannah.
Okay.
Of burning of charcoal. And I must commend the regional minister, honestly. He's come up with the traditional council to stop. And the problem with the sand winning and this charcoal situation still boils back to property rights. How do you control it? But I saw the forum organized by the regional directorate where they brought all the chiefs to one forum to look at the effects of it. And look, you know, it's the savannah. And the trees serve as windbreaks. So when it rains and the storm, you don't have a lot of roofs ripped off. But because of the felling of the trees lately, the slightest storm is always disaster in the community. And that's what I think that fortunately for the region, the minister, sector minister, who can help fight this is an MP for one of the constituencies, Damango specifically, and that's Abu Jinapo. And then I think one of the deputy directors, Forestry Commission, also hails from the same community. And I think that if they put their heads together with the regional commitment of the regional minister, they're able to reduce this. And then tying it to Honorable said something on the Galamsey. Yeah, we need the gold, we need the forest. But to get the gold, we destroy the forest to get the gold. That is where the safe mining comes in. You look, once you get to where you stop to restore the water and want to really take the gold, because of the gold we have to take it. Then they are giving that, yes, pull the forest, then take the gold and restore. And we move on.
That's another way out.
Because that's what is supposed to be.
You can only achieve that when you have proper monitoring.
That is where, as a people,
do the mining.
You see, this is where we have failed as a community to involve and engage the experts.
Okay.
And the experts are coming from a university that is solely training people like that. And that's where the manifesto, if you look at the NDC 2020 manifesto, it suggested creating like the agric extension unit so that we have it for mining too, like Peter was saying. Then we station them in all the villages of the man where if we get sanity and we have to go, they supervise and make sure the right thing is done, so that we now will adopt safe mining practices, the national standard. Okay. So that once you finish, you restore the environment, the water is safe, the forest will be used to get the gold, and we restore it again. And this is where we would have developed, would have grown, would have been matured to do things in a sane manner than this.
But see, I feel very uncomfortable when the picture is being painted that Galamsey actually started from 2017.
No, nobody's painting that picture. No, but that's why I said that. Remember, honorable. That the manifesto.
NDC was for 8 years. And we saw.
But we didn't get NDC party function.
Even today. Actually, we get
but you don't have them. You don't have them.
It's not that they did it. And
you bring this and I bring it back. You don't have them. Go seize your party functionality. Get back. And we never had it to do with degree. Look at the degree. Look at the level they are. Allow their people to do it. Look at the level they are. When we have party functionary, we took a loan from the bank of excavator. You see, I'm saying, and give them police to go in the military to go and disband the environment now.
Okay, let's move on. Let me this time I'm going to start with you, at least this falls within your specialty. The Ministry of Roads and Highways says that it will soon audit all toll booths across the country to ascertain their condition and relevance. Mr. Kwesi Amakwata, the sector minister, said that had become necessary because many of the toll booths were now public nuisance, creating a lot of traffic and causing an undue delay to commuters. He said the ministry, together with the Ghana Highways Authority, will next week set up a committee to commence audit on all the booths and to enable it to take an informed decision, actually. The minister said that when he moved around some of the road projects in the Greater Accra region, he said, quote, I have personally been worried about the toll booths within the next few weeks. We are going to deal with the problem associated with toll booths holistically. There are so many challenges, and these are places that we raise revenue, and I'm a sensitive one too, and I'm sensitive to the public's concern and demand that I think members of the public cannot be wrong, unquote. This is coming from the minister. Ghana currently has about 38 toll booths sited in major highways across the country, and the government in 2019 raked in 1.8 million Ghana cedis from 36 toll booths across the country. Even this one is not that much. Yes.
Oh. Yes, I had a position on this toll booth thing, or should I even say I have, because it's still my position. I haven't discarded that. So I have a personal position.
Okay.
And I'm happy I pushed that position when I was the chairman for Roads Committee in Parliament. I didn't get the necessary support. So I'm happy today the minister have recognized those issues that I raised. You are going to pay a toll at a toll booth, and the queue that you join before even getting to the toll booth the condition of the booths in which these collectors are sitting in, the roads, the condition of the road surface to the approaches of the toll booth and after the toll booth. If I'm paying toll to maintain a road for me to use, and there's a big pothole at where I pay the toll, definitely I'm not painting I'm not painting a good picture to those who are paying the toll. I'm trying to tell them that the money that you are paying, I'm not going to use it to repair. So I think I suggested that we should get rid of all the 38 toll booths we have in this country. All of them. All of them. Wow. And then put 5 pesos per liter on the fuel that we buy. Because the fuel contribution of fuel levies into the road fund is 96%. Sorry, 94%. Toll booths, DVLA, altogether gives us 6%. You get my point? So if the fuel levy is giving us 94%, and then toll booths together with DVLA and all that gives us 6%. It means when you have 5 pesos being added and say, Ghanaians, we are removing all the 38 toll booths so that we avoid this inconvenience in queue, blah, 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 and put 5 pesos to the fuel that you buy so that nobody can escape paying the toll. Because once you buy the fuel, you pay it. It is going to give us more than 1.8 million Ghana cedis, which happen to be the proceeds from the toll booth. If you do the calculation, you end up having about 5 to 6 million Ghana cedis per the same period that the toll booth is giving us 1.8. So I suggested the same value. Even in one of my contributions in Parliament on a budget debate, I said it. I have it right up there. I said it. Said, can't we do something about this? Removing the toll booth and put the money. Even if I can't remember when government made an attempt to reduce fuel price by 70 pesos. I think you remember. I went to the minister and said, when you go to cabinet, tell them that instead of reducing the fuel by 70 pesos per liter, they should do it by 50 pesos. And then the remaining 20 pesos, they send it to toll booth because we are not increasing the fuel price. You are rather reducing it. Yeah. So instead of reducing it by 70 pesos, you reduce it by 50 pesos and tell Ghanaians that I'm taking your 20 pesos to road fund and remove all the toll booths. So I was asking for 5 pesos. We've had an opportunity to pay 20 pesos. So instead of having 5 million, we're going to have something like about 15 to 20 million instead of 1.8 million. So that we get this toll booth thing off our roads. So I think the minister, reading the story, he's gradually pushing to that end. I'm looking 2 angles from the minister. The minister was looking at improving the condition at where the money is being taken. Either we make so many roads, about 5, 6 on each side, so that when you go there, you split and pay. And also improve the conditions over there. Or if the debate can go well, we remove the toll booths and do something about it. Provided Ghanaians will accept, because the minister will be a happy man if the toll booths are removed and Ghanaians accept paying 5 pesos, which is going to give him more than 1.8 million. And the linkages, somebody will take the ticket and throw it away. Then I saw small boys who were taking the ticket. Why are they taking the ticket? They take it back into the bush. Others will pay and then they will shake their hands so they don't want the ticket. You left the ticket to the one selling the ticket. What is he going to do? He's never going to give it to the next car. So the leakages are there. Once it is removed and we start paying through the fuel, the leakages will stop. The 1.8 million that we are having is going to be double. Yeah. the traffic jam at the boot centers will also stop. So I think we should think through this. It is important. Okay. Difficult though, because Ghanaians will say, fuel price will go up again. But when we debate it clearly, I think most motorists will agree with me.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I will share Honorable's
his proposal.
Submission and proposal. At least another shall meet you one of the road ministers because this is rich. You see, yeah, they I think agree with him. But when you see toll booths, they are not limited to Ghana per se. We have toll booths in other countries too, and some of them are automated. And they gather some traffic a little, but not what we see here. At least I have been in Accra for some time. The major toll booths that really frustrate users, the Kaswa side, the motorway at the Accra side when you are going to Tema, the Tema side when you are coming to Accra, then when you are leaving Accra, Greater Accra to Ashanti, Eastern Ashanti region, that place is sometimes very uncomfortable traffic. And I think some of the reasons for the traffic is let me also go to the concern of the minister. You see, apart from the motorway, if you get to the Kaswa Tobu, after paying, you move a few yards, there are speed ramps there. What speed can you gather from the Tobu to where the police...
Let me help, I'm not cutting you short. The engineers didn't help us. You see, the speed ramp should be the approaches.
That's right.
So they shouldn't have done the two roads, the speed ramps on the two roads. They should be on one road. Because the speed ramp should be when you are approaching the toll booth, not when you are exiting.
When you are exiting.
But they've made it in such a way that when you are exiting the toll booth, you go round.
Yeah.
When you are approaching, you go round.
Yes, and if you take on I think I've seen two, the Kumasi road, all of them, after paying, there's a speed ramp. A very high one. And you see, when the car slows down a few seconds, it can build traffic for some yards.
Exactly.
So I finish paying, I cannot speed off. And this traffic is building at the back. And that is the major problem at the toll booths. But you see that this argument does not apply to the motorway side. And the motorway side, there is no speed ramp, but it's a motorway and car speed. So one slows down to pay, the other one slows down. And within a minute,
you can see
traffic completed 100 meters. And if it delays further for like another minute, by 30 minutes time, the traffic is already hitting at the Action Chapel there. And it would take traffic that is like that on the motorway. It would take more than 1 hour to clear. And you are just left your office very exhausted. You're thinking of getting home to get a good meal and to sleep and rest for the following day, and you are stuck here. You see, the impatience and the tension builds in you. You get home more exhausted.
Yeah.
And so if the other way, they should take the speed ramps off, then the other one, at least after paying, so that you can just speed off and the traffic will flow. Then the motorway, for instance, they could create more. You see, they created some electronic payment. And it's like 99.9% of people do not use it. So you see here choked and two are free because the electronic people are not they are not using it. Then clear it and use it in the evenings. So that once you are using it in the evening, because there's a choke, I don't know why the managers will not apply that. You have two lockdown and the electronic groups are not using it. Everybody is stuck here. Why won't you open it and let them go? At least the electronic ones come, you identify them, let them pass. Anyway. Why wouldn't that be the case? And then you open more of the booths. Either you take it off, you do it the honorable way, or you improve it such a way that people can run through, or we automate it. The automation can be better.
Will you be automating if you create more traffic?
No, the automation...
Before Elder will come in, no, but I'm not cutting you short. Can't we also do something for those in the advanced countries to come and learn from us?
I agree.
He made mention that, you see, in those countries that we have a toll booth, some of the toll booth doesn't belong to the states.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are told to use roads that have been constructed by private organizations, and they are taking their toll to use their roads. In Ghana, we don't have that yet. What we have is all the 13 belongs to the states. So the states can decide to put their money in the fuel tickets. Recently, we are going to have something done. I passed that. It came to my committee. I couldn't finish working on it when I left Parliament. So I think the next committee will take charge of that. We are going to give the motorway and some roads in Tema to an organization. And that's what they will do. Any road that will fall from the sea to our harbors will pay a levy. Load, container, whatever container being any goods that comes into the country. So we are going to create transport fund. That money will go into the fund. And the Ministry of Transport in collaboration with the Ministry of Roads and Highways will use that money to construct and maintain some selected roads in Tema and the motorway for us. So you will not pay any toll booth. There will not be any toll booth. Rather, the imported goods will levy the imported goods to.
I needed to end on something. You see, the other part I don't like about the booth is that the revenue generated there, it's outsourced to private people.
Yes.
So the money doesn't even come to the state. Yes. And apart from collecting it, what other responsibility will these private individuals that you have given this booty to make money for themselves and not the state? So the question is,
can't I explain that? Make money for them. They take the money on behalf of the state and with commission.
The point is, so can't the Minister of Roads and Highways employ people to do this? They are doing it. But that is why it's a conduit to siphon state money for some. Let me put it like, and that's the problem. The point is that apart from, the point is that what is the motivation of giving it to that? Let me end here. What is the motivation of giving it to the private person? Are you giving him an extra responsibility to do, or just to collect it, take his share, and give the
just collect it?
Then it's not necessary. But if you give the maintenance to a section of the road back to him, then that makes sense.
No, I'm not
maintaining the main road.
Let's
to clean the middle of the weeds, and then street lights maintenance added to it will make sense. But if just to get to the private crony to take the money and go home, it's useless.
Thank you very much.
Government should sit down. Minister of Road and Highway. Government should service personnel to sit there and take it.
Thank you, Gilbert.
And not give it to a crony to make money.
Let's just copy that.
The major problem we have with the toll booth system is actually has to do with the manual way in which we manage the toll booth. You know, if you look at it, the number of minutes you spend or seconds you spend at the point of making payment, that is where most of the time the challenge is. So you stop, and it is a place where the truck drivers change money. So where he's going, he has 50 cedis he needed change. So when he gets to the toll booth, that is where he gets change. So instead of spending like a few seconds, the person manning the booth has to then change the money. He gives to him or her, he says, we'll give me small denominations. So that is a point where they change their monies. And that is one of the areas, aspects also that delays. Because if you look at the motorway, they expanded it.
Yes.
But still there's traffic. Because the truck driver gets there and he's changing money. So to solve the problem, and one of the solutions is what Honorable has related. Now, another way we can do that is this. Let me be able to pay for my toll at my community. It can be my district assembly, where I can go there and buy my toll either for the month or for the year from there. So, whilst I am going, the truck driver, wherever they fly, they are also able to pay their toll before they set off from the station where they have loaded. So as you are going, you don't then get there and say you are going to change money. So there's no time to waste when you get to that point. As a private person, where I am, my district assembly, I can also go there, pay for my toll for the month. So when I'm also going, I don't stop. I just get there and I move. Other than that, we will have this difficulty.
an electronic mirror verifying your.
These assemblies, my brother, don't bring them.
No, it's not a district assembly. Like the company
having a booth in his locality.
No, the company is responsible for collecting. Because anybody let's say we go to Circle, the station.
We have board for small scale industry wanted to use the assemblies in taking some. You know the mess they
no, you're not giving it to the assembly. No, but you create a debt there. For example, the company collecting the tolls can create a debt there. Correct. Then one doesn't go to assembly. You just use their facility to take it. Then you go to Circle, for example, Tema, Ashama, Aflao. You put a booth there. You pay them. Yes, and for one day. Then you just go and pass. You don't stop. Before you move his car, you go to pay his toll. Yeah.
In other jurisdictions, in fact, they have a nice proposal. Just like the card that will load MTN mobile. Yeah, that's another. You can load it as soon as you pass. They just swap it. You put it on your dashboard. Okay. So when you pass, it detects and scans it. Okay.
All right. So we'll leave it here. Thank you very much.
But before
for your time.
Yeah. Before we go,
we have to go.
I see a Kufu-Addo pumps 45 million euro into NAFT. Yeah. Yes, you should also remember GBC.
Oh, thank you.
Because brother, when you come and look at your structures.
Thank you.
GBC as a matter of fact, renovation.
Thank you.
Your doors.
This government that you are saying this, we plan to privatize to give GBC.
It doesn't matter. You can
when the government wants to give it out of private, it's one of the craziest things. Why will it give now? Of GTB, I'm sure this should not allow any entity to take care of it because when nothing was Olympic, this can be the best thing.
Now became nothing because of GBC. Yeah. Because then there was only one outlet.
Now why don't you put resources into this one? And what I'm saying is that all these foreign million euro we give to NAFTA. GBC has made some sort of information.
But without GBC,
nothing will be done.
So it's also
yesterday we had the information minister.
And you update your facility.
We had the NMC chair also.
Some of your doors, your
and he said that that's what it's going to happen.
If you have NAFTA without GBC, NAFTA cannot pay.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. I have one more interview and we'll wrap up.
For you,
We're going to talk about a program that's coming up, and it's a whole, I think it's something very noble, I would say. It's been organized by Ish Concept. So I have next to me Ifwa Pepra, and next to Ifwa is Mr. Tete. He says I should call him Mr. Tete. So I greet you all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope you're well.
Yes.
Okay. And this got to do with childhood cancer. I remember the last time I spoke to you was something regarding the eye, right?
No, it's about
alcohol.
Alcohol, yes. The last time we spoke was something regarding alcohol. So this time around is childhood cancer.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why focus now on childhood?
Okay, thank you. So basically, my research area is into maternal health and pediatrics. So we pick issues which are not really well, talked about. Then we highlight on them. So the main aim is awareness. Yeah. So each year we pick one pilot project. So this year the alcohol thing will be coming up. So we realize that this child cancer is not something we look at. So usually when you mention cancer, you don't see it in somebody who's below 13 years, but these things are happening. And unfortunately, in this part of the world, if you have cancer as a child, your chances of surviving is very, very low. It's below 15%, as low as 10%. So the only thing that can save your life is early detection. So that's why we chose this initiative.
All right, so what's going to be the plan for rolling out this initiative?
We began with self-awareness. It's important, especially in Ghana, because worldwide 80,000 deaths are recorded based on cancer-related diagnosis, and 400,000 diagnoses are also given worldwide. And as a mother, to see a child go through such pain is very devastating. Yes, so we've started with self-awareness, and as time goes on, more information will be given on the programs.
So we are using these media outlets, and one thing we really leverage on is social media, which people can go on a social media platform is ISH concept. So just one word. So you go on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, it gets ISHCONCEPTS. So you can read a lot of health news, because people always care about health when they are sick. They don't see health as a problem. But if you always care, then you can prevent it. That's one thing.
You said you did a lot of research within that particular area. Usually when people get cancer, older people get cancer, although we don't know the cause of cancer, but we can attribute certain factors, lifestyle issues and all of that. But with kids or a child as old as a year old, some months, what could really be wrong along the line there for them?
They are still kind of like purposive. They are still purporting. It's not so factual. I'm still trying to fit some puzzle somewhere. Yes. We are hoping there's this cancer group at Kolebu, and we are hoping that after this program we have to build that capacity as a country, take that bold step to further research. Because if you look at the pattern of the prevalence in the Western world and what happens here, they are very different. They are very different. Like the big cases here are not the big cases there, and ours is linked to certain epidemiological reasons, like certain viruses. They have the let's say the Hep virus, which is the Epstein-Barr virus, which we also have malaria in the hepatitis B, and where these diseases are common, they tend to have high cases of childhood cancer. But the exact reason, it's not well known. So I think we should take a bold step, not waiting for others to do their research and bring it. We should also try and take data over here and do biochemical analysis and understand these things.
We're not doing that.
We are not doing enough at all. We are not doing enough. It's all the research I've seen, like we take it as in it's more of cross-sectional. It's more of cross-sectional. So within a particular time, let's say 5 years, they look at the cases, then they talk about it, and they relate it to the literature which is already there. But we have to get a consistent way of drawing a plan for, let's say, next 20, 30 years,
like what was done for coronavirus. Now we have the vaccine and all that. There's a consistent effort. If somebody has done a research in France, somebody has done a research here, then we collate everything, then we build our capacity to produce something new. So because the cases over here, if you're waiting for the Western world to come up with maybe a remedy or a therapy for cancer, it may be different over here.
Because the cases are different here.
Yes. That is the interesting part, bit of the child cancers. Yes.
Okay. One challenge with this whole child cancer thing, which he talked about, has got to do with early detection. But unfortunately for our situation here, sometimes the time they send the child to the hospital, it's been a very terrible, long time. What really amounts to some of these delays in parents even sending their child to the hospital? Most of them would like to go to churches and prayer camps and all that before they go to the hospital.
One of the reasons is because they are not well informed, and that's why we are here to let people know about childhood cancer. That is real, and when detected early, it can be cured. Yes. So as time goes on, we'll inform them of more programs. Yes.
Yeah. All right. And before we'll move on further, today, what signs should parents look out for?
What times?
Signs.
Okay. With
these are children, so these are kids too.
Oh, okay. So it's actually everyday signs. Unfortunately, there are everyday signs which you always ignore, like common headache. There are ones. Some of them are a bit, let's say, odd, which can come to your mind, like certain bruises and let's say growth around the neck and the growth around the neck and the head area is one common sign. But everyday signs. But what they should look at for is the prolonged fever, prolonged more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, headache, fever. They should take their kids there in the hospital, because they are everyday signs, most of them, but they are the odd ones, like the swelling, the swellings around the head area, or the blurry pupil. There's some sort of blurry growth on the pupil. These are very visible signs.
All right, and treatment in Ghana, how is treatment like?
Yeah, there's yes, you have the chemotherapy, then we have the radiotherapy.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yes,
which often also make people have a second thought by sending their children because of the expenses attached to it in treating even cancer. Talk about even childhood cancers today.
Yeah, but now there are organizations which are supported. They people donate and they support these children. So yeah, they should just try and go.
Okay.
Yeah, because every case has the way it's being done, and some of these things are being subsidized by corporate bodies. So you should just take the efforts and go.
You had calls that it should be on national health insurance.
Yes, it should.
You support that?
Yes, it should. Because one of the reasons why people wouldn't go make the situation worse is because of the cost. Yes, and cancer is not for any rich or poor person.
I agree.
Yes, so but someone who's poor cannot afford. So at least the majority of the cost should be taken by health insurance, the national health insurance.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll quickly wrap up. When is your alcohol program also coming up?
That's in September.
Is it September?
Yeah, the fetal alcohol syndrome days in 9th of September. So around that time.
When it gets there to Charlie, we'll talk.
Okay.
Let me get your final words and we can wrap up.
Okay. So they should parents should be very watchful of childhood cancers. Cancers are not only for adults; it can also occur in children, and they should be looking out for this campaign. We are rolling this campaign from the 3rd May to the 9th May, so they should support and make sure they take advantage and learn more about these. They shouldn't wait for things to be worse when they can't really help you. That's when you spend more money, and take advantage and screen when they are having these signs of prolonged symptoms. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Your final words.
Thank you for this opportunity. And as Solomon said, we should continue following ISH concepts and get more information about childhood cancers. The earlier the detection, the earlier the child will be cured. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and we wish you all the best, Charlie.
Thank you.
All right, so I mean, childhood cancer is one important thing, and as a parent out there, just pay attention to your child. They always give those signs, and gradually we can help get some of these things out of our system. We end today's edition of the show. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning. The show continues tomorrow at 6. My name is George Sapp. On behalf of the entire production team, thanks a lot for joining us. But don't go anywhere. Our program still continues. We'll be right back. Bye-bye.